Welcome to the monk's temple. This is not a place made of stone or wood. You carry its walls within you. Its foundation is your breath. Its altar is your attention. Right now, in the quiet theater of your awareness, a conversation is unfolding. It has been running, perhaps, for decades. A background hum. A silent commentary. It may not feel like words. It might be a pressure behind your eyes when you remember a task left undone. A weight in your stomach when you recall something you said, or didn't say. A hollow feeling in your chest when you look toward tomorrow. A faint, constant static of, what if, and, if only. That hum, that pressure, that is a dialogue. It is the most significant, ongoing conversation of your life. It shapes your reality from the inside out. It paints the world you experience with colors of hope or dread, possibility or limitation. And for most people walking this earth, it is a dialogue of subtle, relentless, and deeply ingrained violence. We have been taught, from playgrounds to boardrooms, that to be strong is to be hard. Hard on the world. Hard on others. And most devastatingly, hard on ourselves. We have dressed this hardness in noble costumes. We call it discipline. We call it drive. We call it holding myself accountable. We believe this inner taskmaster is the engine of our success, the guardian of our worth. But in the quiet hours, when the day's distractions fade and you are left alone with the echo of your own mind, does it feel like strength? Or does it feel like a slowly closing door? A draining of color from your experiences? A life lived in a room where the air is always growing thinner, tasted through the filter of not yet, not enough, not good? This voice, the critic, the nag, the worrier, promised you safety. It promised you excellence. It promised you control. And in its wake, it has left a trail of exhaustion, underlying anxiety, a sense of being perpetually behind, perpetually flawed, perpetually on the verge of being discovered as insufficient. Tonight, we open the windows. This gathering, this time we share, is not about becoming someone new. It is not an exercise in fixing what is broken. You are not a problem to be solved. That very belief is the first whisper of the violence we have come to end. This is a homecoming. A return to the one voice you were meant to trust above all others. Your own. Not the voice of fear or inherited criticism, but the voice of your deepest, clearest knowing. Spoken not from a place of lack, but from a place of profound, unshakable friendship with yourself. For the next hours, we will walk this path together, step by conscious step. We will dismantle, layer by gentle layer, the architecture of inner cruelty. The beams of should, the walls of never, the locked doors of can't. And we will learn, word by soft word, how to build something infinitely more sustainable, a sanctuary within your own mind. A place of rest, of clarity, of unwavering and compassionate regard. This sanctuary already exists. It is your birthright. We are merely clearing away the debris that has obscured its entrance. Are you ready to listen? Truly listen, not to the noise, but to the silence beneath it. Are you ready to meet yourself not as a project, but as a beloved guest? Then let us begin, by listening to what is already speaking. If this journey to a kinder inner world has touched something in you, if you feel the resonance of a more compassionate way of being with yourself, I invite you to subscribe and turn on notifications. Find a position that allows you to be both alert and at ease. You may close your eyes if you wish, or simply soften your gaze, letting the world before you blur into impression. Let your body settle. Feel the points of contact, the chair supporting you, the floor beneath your feet, the air on your skin. And now, listen. Not to my voice. Listen to the space behind my voice. The space behind your thoughts. The inner landscape. What do you hear? Is it a list? A scrolling ticker tape of obligations? I should be working. I forgot to send that email. I need to call them back. I have to be better tomorrow, more organized, more on top of things. Is it a critique? A courtroom drama playing on a loop? That was stupid. Why did you say that? You always do this. They probably think you're incompetent. You're so lazy/awkward/behind. Is it a hum of vague dread? A restless, buzzing static about a future that hasn't happened, a disaster movie your mind is writing, directing, and starring in? What if it goes wrong? What if I can't handle it? What if they leave? What if I fail? This noise, we have not only normalized it, we have come to identify with it. We say, I'm a worrier. I'm so hard on myself. That's just how my mind works. We call it thinking. We call it my personality. We wear it like a constant, low-grade fever, believing this frantic temperature is the necessary heat of being alive, of being responsible. But what if it isn't? What if this noise is not the essence of your mind, but something in your mind? A conditioned soundtrack, playing from a dusty old record. A habit of friction. A software program running on an outdated operating system, draining your battery with pointless background tasks. In the ancient Pali language, the Buddha gave a name to this phenomenon, papanka, often translated as conceptual proliferation or mental elaboration. It is the mind's compulsive, almost gravitational tendency to take a single seed of sensation, a tiny event, and spin it into an entire universe of story, commentary, judgment, and anxiety. A slight, passing tension in the shoulder becomes the thought, I'm so stressed. That thought proliferates into, I can't handle my workload. Which cascades into, I'm failing at my career. Which elaborates into, I'm a disappointment, my life is off track, I'll never find peace. From a tingling in a muscle to a condemnation of an entire life, in seconds. This proliferation, this endless, cascading conversation about the event, rather than a direct experience of the event, is the source of most of our suffering. The pain is not in the stubbed toe, it is in the story we tell about it. I'm so clumsy, I always ruin things, why can't I watch where I'm going? Your inner voice, when lost in the thicket of papanka, is not a guide. It is a commentator who has mistaken the microphone for reality. It is a frantic subtitling service, mistaking its own scrolling text for the actual, vivid, wordless movie of your life. It speaks in abstractions of past and future, rarely touching the solid ground of the present moment. There's a story I often think of, about a weaver who lived in a village at the edge of a great whispering forest. Let us illustrate this with a story, for stories speak to a part of us that logic cannot reach. In a village nestled at the edge of a great, whispering forest, there lived a weaver renowned throughout the region for her sublime skill. Her tapestries were not just cloth, they were visions. They captured the dappled light of the forest floor, the deep gold of the autumn oaks, the fierce crimson of winter berries. Villagers said her hands were blessed by the spirits of the wood itself. Then, one year, a strange and perpetual twilight fell over the land. It was as if a great, silent lens of gray smoke had been placed between the earth and the sun. The bright day never fully arrived, only a dim, melancholic half-light remained, day after day, month after month. The weaver, devoted to her craft, continued her work in her gradually darkening workshop. She worked by memory and by stubborn habit. Without true light, she could no longer distinguish the vibrant dyes. The crimson looked brown. The gold looked dun. The emerald looked black. Her hands, once guided by sight, now moved by guesswork in growing frustration. The tapestries she produced were dull, muddied, the once beautiful patterns now confused and gloomy. The villagers stopped commissioning work. Her own heart sank each time she looked at her loom. She grew bitter, then despairing. She believed her sacred skill had abandoned her. She believed the beauty had drained from the world itself, and worse, from her own soul. "I am a hollow shell," she would whisper to the gloom. "The magic is gone." One afternoon, a traveler, a man with quiet eyes that seemed to hold their own light, asked to see her work. He found her sitting before a particularly grim tapestry, her head in her hands. He listened to her sorrow, the story of lost skill, of vanished color, of a world turned gray. He did not offer empty comfort. He simply stood and walked to the far wall of her workshop, a wall cluttered with shelves and discarded skeins of wool. The weaver had forgotten what was even there. With a calm strength, the traveler began to move the clutter. And behind it, covered in decades of dust and cobwebs, were 3 large, shuttered windows. Windows she had long forgotten existed. Without a word, he threw them open. The noon sun, which had been shining brilliantly in a clear blue sky outside all along, exploded into the room. A torrent of golden light flooded every corner, illuminating the floating dust like galaxies. The weaver cried out, shielding her eyes. As they adjusted, she looked at her loom, at the latest, failed tapestry now bathed in true light. She gasped. The threads were, in fact, the most magnificent colors she had ever spun. A crimson as deep as heart's blood, a gold that held the sun itself, a blue like the twilight sky, an emerald that held the forest's soul. But in the gloom, blinded by the false twilight, she had been weaving them together in fear and confusion, crossing brilliant gold with brilliant blue in a way that created only a murky, dark green. She had been creating shadows with the very stuff of light. She hadn't lost her skill. Her hands were the same. The threads were more beautiful than ever. She had lost her light. And in the absence of that clear, illuminating awareness, she had blamed the threads, she had blamed her hands, she had blamed her very essence. Your mind, when operating in the dim, murky glow of anxious, critical, proliferating self-talk, is that weaver. Your lived experiences, your raw emotions, your inherent capabilities, they are those vibrant, potent threads. But the voice of fear and judgment casts a shadow over everything. It distorts perception. It weaves a story of lack from threads of abundance, a story of failure from the material of learning, a story of not enough from the very substance of a human life. The practice we begin tonight is not about acquiring new, better threads. It is not about forcing yourself to be positive. It is about opening the long-shuttered windows. It is about allowing the clear, undiscriminating light of kind attention to fall on what is already, and has always been, there. The first shutter we open is the simplest, and the most radical, the recognition that this harsh, constant voice is not helping you. It is obscuring you. It is not making you sharper, it is making you weary, draining your cognitive resources with endless drama. It is not making you safer, it is making you smaller, teaching you to fear your own shadow. It is not a tool for excellence, it is a tool for exhaustion, a relentless internal productivity coach that never clocks out. When you see this, not as an idea, but as a felt truth in the marrow of your bones, something shifts. The unconscious loyalty to that voice begins to dissolve. You realize, with a shock of clarity, that you have been serving a tyrant who promised you a kingdom of security and achievement, but who has, in truth, only ever given you the keys to a well-decorated prison cell. And you have been both the prisoner and the guard. This recognition is not an ending. It is the first, true beginning. It is the moment your hand reaches for the dusty latch of the window. So we have sat together in the quiet. We have listened. We have begun to recognize the noise, the papanka, for what it is, a conditioned soundtrack, a habit of friction, not the essence of the mind itself. We have seen, through the weaver's eyes, how the absence of clear light can make a treasure look like trash. This recognition is the first, vital liberation. But insight without understanding can be a fragile thing. If we merely see the noisy commentator and shout at it to be quiet, we engage in the very violence we seek to end. We become a critic of the critic, adding another layer of conflict. To truly change the relationship, we must ask with genuine curiosity, not accusation, where did this voice come from? If it is so harmful, so draining, why does it hold such power? Why does it feel so deeply, stubbornly mine? The answer lies not in your essence, but in your history. This voice is almost never original. It is almost always inherited. Think of it as a language you learned before you understood the concept of language. Before you could question grammar or vocabulary, you were immersed in the emotional linguistics of your early world. You absorbed it through your skin, through the tone in the room, through the spaces between words. The sharp, urgent tone of a parent, deeply worried about security in an uncertain world. The sigh of a teacher, disappointed not in you, perhaps, but in the system, in their own day, a sigh you absorbed as your own failing. The cold, withdrawing silence that followed a mistake, teaching you that love might be conditional on perfection. The cultural drumbeat, endless and omnipresent, of more, faster, better, higher, shinier. A child's mind is a sanctuary, yes, but it is also a brilliant, survival-oriented learning machine. Its primary directive is to map the environment for safety and belonging. It does not filter, it downloads. It internalizes the emotional software of its surroundings as the absolute truth of how life works. If the environment speaks the language of anxiety, the child's developing consciousness learns, to be safe here, I must be vigilant. Worry is the price of security. If the environment speaks the language of harsh judgment, the child learns. To be good here, to be loved, I must find every flaw first. Self-criticism is a preemptive strike against rejection. If the environment is one of scarce praise, the child learns, my worth is a scarce commodity. I must earn it constantly, and it can be revoked at any moment. These voices were not installed by a malicious programmer. They were created by you, by a younger, brilliant, adaptive version of you, as primitive guardians. They are cognitive emotional algorithms written in the code of fear, meant to navigate a world that felt vast, unpredictable, and potentially threatening. Consider the critical inner voice. It might have formed as a misguided protector, whispering, if I am the first to point out every flaw, if I am the harshest judge, then no one else can hurt me with their criticism. I will beat them to the punch. The anxious, ruminating voice might have formed as a desperate strategist, pleading. If I run every possible scenario, if I worry about everything, I can see disaster coming. I can prevent the unpreventable. My suffering now is a talisman against greater suffering later. They were loyal. They were trying to help. But they were born in a different time, to meet different needs. They are like ancient soldiers guarding a river crossing long after the war has moved on, or like a frantic smoke alarm that goes off every time you toast bread. A system calibrated for a 5-alarm fire, now interpreting the slightest warmth as an existential threat. You are not that child anymore. The world is not that same single room. You have resources, perspective, and agency that your younger self could not have conceived of. Yet the old software still runs. The guardian, weary and confused, still stands at the gate of your psyche, swinging a rusty sword at every shadow. Including the shadow of your own joy, your own rest, your own simple contentment. The true moment of power, the second great liberation, arrives not when you battle this guardian, but when you see it clearly. When you recognize it not as you, but as a part of your internal system. A part that is scared. A part that is working from an outdated, frayed manual. A part that is, at its core, profoundly tired. From this recognition, a new kind of inner speech becomes possible. You can turn toward this guardian, this critic, this worrier, and speak to it internally with the compassion you would show a loyal, battle-fatigued soldier. You can say, with the quiet authority of your present awareness, I see you. I feel your fear. You have worked so hard. For so long. You have stood guard through countless nights, believing you were keeping me safe. Thank you for your service. But look around. The war you were trained for is over. I am safe now. I am here now. You can stand down. You can rest. This is not about defeating a foe. It is about retiring a weary servant with honors. It is the beginning of reparenting your own mind, of offering the understanding and safety that perhaps was missing, not with blame, but with a mature, compassionate responsibility. It is the process of updating the software, not with a violent delete, but with a gentle, grateful upgrade. Let me tell you about an old gatekeeper named Kale. He guarded a peaceful kingdom that hadn't seen war in 50 years. Let this truth settle not as a concept, but as a story. For our neural pathways are woven from narrative. In a peaceful, prosperous kingdom nestled in green valleys, there remained one old gatekeeper named Kale. His father, and his grandfather before him, had guarded the great stone gate during the terrible wars of the Scar, generations past. They had drilled into him from the moment he could hold a sword. Every stranger is a potential threat. Every sound in the night is an enemy scout. Constant, ruthless vigilance is the only price for survival. Trust is a luxury that gets villages burned. The kingdom had known nothing but peace for 50 years. Trade flourished along the safe, well-traveled roads. Travelers from distant lands brought spices, music, and new ideas. Festivals filled the squares with laughter. But old Kale, operating on the code of his ancestors, saw danger in every corner. His eyes, perpetually narrowed, scanned for threats. A merchant's friendly smile was a disguise. The clatter of a festival drum was a disturbance, possibly a covert signal. The joyous shouts of children were suspicious cacophony. He would challenge friendly merchants with snarling suspicion, holding up lines for hours. He would interrupt royal celebrations with frantic alarms about unidentified gatherings, which were picnics. The people felt a constant, low-grade tension walking through their own main gate. The kingdom was objectively safe, but it did not feel safe, because the guardian at its very heart was still fighting the last war, projecting the ghosts of the past onto the vibrant present. The wise King Arlen did not have Kale arrested. He did not shout at him or shame him. He understood the old man's loyalty, the deep groove of his training, the love for his homeland that had curdled into paranoia. One calm morning, the king walked to the gate. He stood beside Kale, shoulder to shoulder, looking out at the sunny, peaceful road where farmers brought wagons of apples, scholars walked debating poetry, and children played. After a long silence, the king spoke softly. "Kale, tell me. What do you see?" The old gatekeeper's hand tightened on his sword hilt, his voice a dry rasp. "Potential threats, my liege. Disguised enemies. Patterns of movement that could precede an attack. The world is a veil, hiding sharp teeth." The king nodded slowly. "I see. Now, look again. This time, look with me." He pointed with a gentle finger. "I see Farmer Bowen bringing his surplus to market. His son just had a baby girl. I see Alara the scholar carrying new scrolls of astronomy. She believes the stars sing to each other. I hear children laughing because they have invented a new game, not because they are screaming. I smell bread baking, not smoke. The war of your father's time, Kale, saved this kingdom. Your family's vigilance is the reason we have this peace. But that war is over. Your vigilance now, however well-intentioned, keeps out joy. It keeps out connection. It keeps out the very peace you helped secure. It sees guests as invaders. The king turned to face the old man, his eyes holding not judgment, but profound empathy. Will you stand down, old friend? Will you let me appoint a new guardian for this new age? One who knows how to wisely discern between a true threat and a welcome guest. Your watch has been long and faithful. You have earned your rest. Kale stared at the king, then back at the road. For the first time, he truly saw it. Not as a collection of threats, but as a living tapestry of peaceful life. The tension that had held his body like iron for 60 years began to tremble. A tear, clear and solitary, traced the deep groove of his cheek. His hand, which had been permanently shaped to the grip of his sword, unclenched. The fingers, stiff and curled, slowly relaxed. He did not speak. He simply nodded, a world of relief and sorrow in the gesture. He stepped back from the gate. Your inner critic, your ambient anxiety, that harsh, whispering taskmaster, it is old Kale. It is a gatekeeper programmed for a different era, a different set of survival conditions. Its vigilance, once perhaps adaptive, now cuts you off from the richness of your own life. It filters your experiences through the lens of past battles, leaving you tense and isolated in a present moment that may be offering you bread, and stars, and laughter. The king in this story is your own present moment awareness. Your awake, compassionate, adult attention. It is the part of you that can see the bigger picture. Only that awareness has the clarity and the authority to gently, firmly, update the protocol. To look with kindness upon the terrified guardian within and say, the war is over. We are safe. Thank you for your service. Now, let in the light. Let in the world. This is the second shutter we open, the understanding that this voice is an inherited guardian, not your core self. With this understanding, we can begin the work of changing the guard, not through civil war, but through compassionate diplomacy. Now we find ourselves at a threshold. We have recognized the noise. We have met its source. We are no longer completely identified with it. We see it as a part, not the whole. But what now? If we are not that voice, who are we? And how do we relate to this powerful, ingrained part of our psyche without falling back into submission or resorting to conflict? The answer lies in the quality of our attention. Attention is the most fundamental currency of consciousness. Where it goes, energy flows. And attention, we must remember, is not a monolithic force. It has a texture. It can be a harsh, interrogating spotlight that burns what it touches, or a soft, welcoming lamplight that reveals without damaging. The next stage of our journey is to learn the alchemy of that attention. To transform its quality from one of interrogation to one of inquiry. From aggression to intimacy. This transformation happens through language, the silent, internal language that is the direct expression of how we are paying attention to ourselves. We are about to learn a new mother tongue for your own soul. A language that doesn't fight the old guardian, but that speaks with the authority of the king, creating a new order of inner peace. We have recognized the noise. We have met the weary gatekeeper. We see now that the harsh, familiar voice is not our essence, but a learned dialect, a mother tongue of fear passed down through generations of survival. This insight is the bedrock. But a blueprint is not a sanctuary. To know the gatekeeper is not the same as knowing how to live peacefully within the gates. Insight alone, without a sustained change in our moment-to-moment relationship with ourselves, can become just another story we tell, another layer of spiritual papanka. I understand my inner critic, and yet, here it is again. Why can't I just be free? The bridge from insight to embodiment is built with the material of attention. Specifically, the quality of that attention. Attention is not just what you focus on. It is how you focus. It has a character, a temperature, a texture. Your self-talk, that stream of silent words in the mind, is the direct voice of your attention turned inward. It is the running commentary of your relationship with yourself. Is it interrogating? Why did you do that? What's wrong with you? When will you learn? Or is it welcoming? Oh, that happened. I feel a reaction. Let's be with this. The difference is not semantic. It is existential. The first is a violence. The second is a hospitality. In the Buddhist Noble Eightfold Path, the guideline of right speech is often taught externally: speak truthfully, kindly, helpfully, avoid lies, gossip, harsh words. It is a social and ethical imperative. But there is a prior, more intimate application: inner right speech. The mind hears the tone you use inside your own skull with a primal, unfiltered intimacy. Your nervous system, that ancient animal within, does not distinguish philosophically between a verbal lashing from another and a silent lashing from yourself. A cortisol spike is a cortisol spike. A clenched gut is a clenched gut. The body lives the inner dialogue as literal truth. Therefore, inner right speech is not a psychological luxury or a self-help tip. It is the foundational hygiene of consciousness. It is the bedrock of ethical living, because you cannot sustainably offer gentle, truthful speech to the world if inside your own mind there is a perpetual, chaotic war zone. You will, inevitably, leak the shrapnel. So, what does this speech sound like? It is critical we define it with precision, for the mind is cunning and will co-opt any vague ideal. It is not positive thinking. Not a saccharine layer of good vibes only, plastered over authentic pain. That is spiritual bypass, a form of dishonesty that creates a brittle, false self. It is not passive acceptance of harmful behavior, either from yourself or others. It is not the voice of the doormat. It is not the empty, frantic cheerleading of false confidence. You're amazing rings hollow when you feel shattered. Authentic inner right speech is a triad of qualities. It is 1. Truthful, but not brutal. It acknowledges what is actually happening, without catastrophic embellishment. 2. Clear, but not cruel. It discerns fact from story, without using that clarity as a weapon. 3. Encouraging, but not delusional. It leans toward growth and kindness, but does not deny present difficulty. It is the voice of a wise, kind, and deeply honest friend who lives in your heart. A friend who sees your shadows and your light, and speaks to all of it with unwavering regard. To build this voice, we need a practical loom on which to weave our new language. Imagine that before a sentence forms in the theater of your mind, it must pass through 3 gates, 3 filters of conscious awareness. This is not meant to be an oppressive censorship, but a wise curation. Filter 1, is it true? Not, is it the absolute, cosmic truth, but, is it an accurate, factual description of this specific event? I made an error in the 3rd paragraph of that report, passes through. It is specific, contained, factual. I am a careless failure who ruins everything I touch, does not pass. It is an inaccurate, globalized judgment, papanka at its most violent. It takes one thread and weaves a whole tapestry of doom. Filter 2, is it necessary? Does this sentence need to be spoken to myself, right now? Does it serve understanding, correction, or healing? Or does it merely replay the pain, like picking at a wound? I feel overwhelmed. I need to pause and prioritize my tasks, passes through. It is useful, actionable information. You're so pathetic, you can't even handle a basic workload, does not pass. It is not necessary. It is punitive commentary that offers no path forward, only shame. Filter 3, is it kind? Kind, here, is not sentimental. It means, spoken with an intention of care, not harm. It is the tone of a skilled doctor diagnosing an illness, frank, direct, but inherently geared toward healing, not condemnation. That conversation was difficult. I felt hurt. I will reflect on what I need to communicate, passes through. The intention is learning and self-care. You always freeze up and say the wrong thing. You're socially incompetent, does not pass. The intention is punishment and diminishment. A thought that passes all 3 filters is inner right speech. It is mind food that nourishes. A thought that fails, particularly at filter 2 or 3, is mental poison. It depletes. Your initial practice is not to police every thought with frantic, self-critical energy. That would be a spectacular failure of filter 2. Your practice is the gentle art of noticing. To catch the old, familiar sentences as they arise and, with the softest internal touch, recognize, ah. That is the old language. That is Kale the gatekeeper, shouting from his post. That sentence does not pass the filters. And in that sacred pause of recognition, a pause that may last only a second, a space opens. In that space, a new sentence can be born. Perhaps just a simpler, truer one, ouch. Or, this is hard. Or, I notice I'm being very hard on myself right now. You are not fighting the noise. You are changing the channel. And you do it first by becoming the conscious listener who can hear the difference. This reminds me of a student who came to a master potter, desperate to learn how to make beauty. Let this understanding move from the head to the hands, through a story. A young student, brimming with ambition, came to a revered master potter. "Teach me," he demanded, "to make beauty like yours." The master nodded and gestured to the wheel. The student sat, grabbed a lump of cool, moist clay, and began to force it. He pushed down, he pulled up, he gritted his teeth, muscles straining. "Become a vase," he muttered to the clay. "Be perfect." The clay, under this aggressive, uneven pressure, resisted. It wobbled, slumped, collapsed into a sad, lopsided lump. Frustrated, he turned to the master. "The clay is bad. It's weak. It won't obey." The master said nothing. She took a fresh lump of the same clay. She centered it on the wheel with a firm, sure, yet accepting pressure, a conversation, not a command. She wet her hands and touched the clay as if greeting an old friend, feeling its consistency, its willingness. As the wheel turned, she followed the clay's natural tendency to rise, applying gentle, supportive guidance here, a subtle suggestion of shape there. She worked with the clay's inherent nature, its unique balance of moisture and grit. She did not demand it become a specific vase, she invited the vase sleeping within that particular clay to emerge. And it did. A form of elegant, effortless simplicity rose from the spinning wheel, glistening and whole. The master looked at the student, her eyes calm. "Your mind," she said, "is the potter. Your life, your feelings, this very moment, that is the clay. You have been shouting at the clay, blaming it for its resistance. All the while, your hands, your attention, were tense with judgment and fear. How can anything beautiful, how can anything true, emerge from such a relationship? You must learn the touch that listens. The intention that collaborates, rather than dominates. Your self-talk is the quality of your touch upon the clay of your own being. Harsh, forcing language, "I should be different, I must be better, why am I like this?" creates internal tension, resistance, and collapse. It is the student's desperate grip. Gentle, accepting, guiding language, "This is where I am. This is the material I have to work with today. Let's see what wants to form from here," creates the conditions for natural, graceful growth. It is the master's knowing hand. The goal of this path is not to make yourself into a masterpiece through sheer force of will. The goal is to create an inner atmosphere so safe, so accepting, so intelligently kind, that your natural, inherent wholeness can reveal itself without fear. You are not creating the beauty, you are removing the obstacles to its expression. Now we arrive at the crucible where theory is forged into being. All of this, the filters, the potter's touch, can feel manageable when the waters of your mind are calm. But what about when the storm hits? When a surge of anger turns your vision red? When a wave of shame floods your body, telling you to disappear? When anxiety wraps your chest in a net of electric tightness? This is the test. This is where the old language reasserts itself with a vengeance, shouting its familiar, toxic script. Don't feel this. This is bad. You're weak for feeling this. Get over it, now. The gatekeeper Kale sees the internal dragon and sounds every alarm. Inner right speech during emotional pain requires nothing less than a fundamental re-understanding of what an emotion is. An emotion is not a command. It is not your identity. It is not a verdict on your worth or your spiritual progress. An emotion is a messenger. A temporary, wave-like pattern of sensation and energy moving through the vast, open space of your awareness. It is a deliverer of urgent, vital, often nonverbal information from the deepest layers of your being. Anger says, a boundary has been crossed. A value I hold dear has been violated. My integrity is calling for defense. Sadness says, something matters deeply to me. Something is ending or has been lost, and my heart needs to process, to mourn, to tenderly adjust. Fear says, there is uncertainty here. Something feels unfamiliar, too large, or potentially threatening. My system is alerting me to proceed with caution. Shame says, I believe I have violated a code, my own or my tribe's. I feel exposed, and my deep need for belonging is in jeopardy. The old language, the voice of the inner tyrant, tries to shoot the messenger. It says the emotion itself is the problem. This creates a devastating civil war. You, at war with a part of your own living, feeling intelligence. You tense against the anger, you wall off the sadness, you panic about the panic. This is secondary suffering, the pain we add to the original pain through our resistance. The new language of inner right speech listens to the messenger. It does not necessarily obey the messenger's most frantic, literal suggestions. Anger doesn't always mean yell, fear doesn't always mean flee. But it gives the message the profound dignity of being heard, felt, and acknowledged. It treats the emotion as an honored, if distressed, guest. When a strong, difficult emotion arises, practice this inner sequence. It takes less than a minute, but it architects a sanctuary within the storm. 1. Name it. Internally, whisper the emotion's name. Anger is here. This is shame. Fear is present. Why it works. Naming creates a critical cognitive gap between you, the aware space, and it, the passing weather. You are not the storm, you are the one naming the storm. Neuroscience calls this affect labeling, and it dampens the amygdala's fire. 2. Allow it. Say inside, it's okay that this is here. This, too, can be allowed. Why it works, this is permission. This does not mean you approve of the triggering situation. It means you are ceasing the inner war against your own experience. You are dropping the rope in the tug-of-war with the emotion. This single step dissolves the secondary suffering. 3. Feel it in the body. Drop the story, he did this means I'm. Ask, where do I feel this in my body? A burning heat in the face. A solid knot in the stomach. A trembling in the hands. A constricted throat. Bring a gentle, curious attention to those pure physical sensations. Breathe softly into that space. The sensation is just sensation, energy in motion. It will peak, it will change, it will pass. By feeling it in the body, You ground the emotion and prevent it from spiraling into catastrophic thinking. 4. Ask it, what do you need? Not from the world, not from others, but from you, your own conscious presence, right now. The anger might need you to firmly say, no, later, or to move your body to discharge energy. The sadness might need you to sit quietly, put a hand on your heart, and let a tear fall. The fear might need you to make a simple plan, or to simply breathe deeply until your nervous system feels the danger has passed. Listen for the quiet, intuitive answer beneath the noisy distress. This 4-step pause is the embodied practice of inner right speech toward your emotional life. It is truthful, naming, kind, allowing, necessary, feeling, and clear, asking. It turns raw suffering from a prison of identification into a process of healing. It transforms you from a victim of your emotions into a compassionate, skilled holder of your own experience. There's a legend about a knight named Torin, sent to slay a dragon terrorizing the kingdom. Let this practice be illuminated by a final story for this part of our journey. A young knight, Sir Torin, was sent to slay a dragon terrorizing the hinterlands of the kingdom. He climbed the scarred mountain, found the beast's cavern, and beheld it. It was magnificent and terrible, scales like polished obsidian, eyes like molten gold, breath that was the very flame of anxiety, and a roar that shook the mountain with the sound of pure shame. Sir Torin raised his sword, the sword of suppression, of judgment, of, I must conquer and eliminate this feeling. With a battle cry, he charged. But with every swing of his sword, the dragon seemed to grow larger, its flames hotter. His attacks didn't wound it, they fed it. Its shame roar grew louder with his every judgmental thought. Exhausted, bruised, and despairing, Torin collapsed at the cave's entrance, his armor scorched. An old hermit, who lived in a simple hut higher up the mountain, approached. He carried no weapon. You fight, the hermit observed, as if the dragon is your enemy. It is, gasped Torin. It's a monster. What if it is not? The hermit replied, his voice calm as a deep lake. What if it is a lost guardian? A powerful, primordial force that has forgotten its true purpose? Watch. The hermit walked calmly toward the raging dragon. He did not adopt a fighting stance. He simply stood still, within the range of its fire. He looked directly into its golden eyes and, with a quiet voice that yet carried through the cacophony, said, I see you. The dragon roared, blowing a furnace blast of fire over his head. The hermit did not flinch. You are immensely powerful, he continued. You must be so very, very tired, guarding this cave for so long. The dragon's roar softened to a confused, rumbling growl. It tilted its massive, spiked head. What? Asked the hermit with unbearable gentleness, are you guarding? A tear, large and hot as a bucket of molten glass, rolled from the dragon's eye and sizzled on the stone. In a voice like continents shifting, it spoke. The wounded child. From the long-ago frost. I was forged in that cold to scare everything away. So nothing could ever hurt it again. Sir Torin, watching from the ground, understood in a flash that shook his soul. His anxiety, his shame, his bursts of rage, they were not enemies to slay. They were powerful, misguided, heartbreakingly loyal protectors, guarding old, tender wounds he had forgotten. He let his sword clatter to the ground. He approached, not as a warrior, but as the one the dragon, and the child, had been waiting for all along. He looked at the great beast and said, "Thank you. Thank you for your protection. I am here now. I am strong enough now. I will care for the child. You can rest." And the dragon, its purpose finally fulfilled, did not vanish. It transformed. Its obsidian scales softened, shimmering into a deep, iridescent blue. Its fiery breath became a warm, radiant glow that lit the cavern without burning. The monster became a mighty, serene companion. Your difficult emotions are that dragon. Your harsh inner voice is Sir Torin, trying to fight fire with fire, only inflaming the situation. Compassionate inner right speech is the hermit's approach. It does not fight. It sees. It acknowledges the exhaustion. It listens for the true need. And in that space of fearless, kind attention, the space you create with the four-step pause, transformation becomes not only possible, but natural. The dragon does not need to be killed. It needs to be understood. And when it is truly, compassionately understood, it can change its very form from a thing of terror into a source of profound, protective warmth. This is the alchemy. Your attention, spoken through kind inner words, is the philosopher's stone. We have learned the alchemy of attention. We have filters for our inner speech. We have a sanctuary protocol for emotional storms. We have begun to see our inner protectors not as monsters to slay, but as lost allies awaiting recognition. This is profound work. But a sanctuary is not built on protocols alone. It needs inhabitants. A community. A sustained culture of kindness. Otherwise, the old, familiar voice of the lone gatekeeper, though now understood, can still fill the silent halls by default. We now move from deconstruction to active cultivation. From stopping a harmful habit to planting a garden of beneficial ones. From being a warrior in a battlefield, or even a hermit in a cave, to becoming a steward of a rich, inner ecosystem. In the Buddhist tradition, one of the three jewels is the Sangha, the community of practitioners. It is the living fellowship that supports, mirrors, challenges, and upholds you on the path. The Sangha provides the context, the reflection, the collective energy that makes sustained awakening possible. What if you could cultivate a Sangha, inside your own mind? Not a chorus of critics, but a council of inner allies. A trusted community of voices, each representing a fundamental quality of wisdom and heart, patience, courage, clarity, compassion, discernment, joy. This is not about dissociation or creating imaginary friends in a fantasy. It is a psychological and spiritual technology for consciously strengthening the neural pathways of your own highest nature. Pathways that exist but are often drowned out by the louder, older, more fear-based broadcasts. Your mind is already a community. The critic is one member. The worrier is another. The ambitious achiever, the people pleaser, the playful child, the wise elder, they all have a seat at the long table of your consciousness. The problem is not their existence. The problem is that for decades, the critic and the worrier have had the microphone. They've been the chairpersons, banging the gavel, silencing the others, interpreting every event through their narrow, fear-based lens. Your task is not to eject them from the room. That would be another act of inner violence, creating exiled, shadow parts that will only cause trouble later. Your task is democratic. It is to promote new, wiser members to leadership. To give volume to the voices that have been whispering in the background. The voice of your own innate compassion, your inherent clarity, your deep courage. You are not creating something foreign. You are conducting an election within your own soul, and finally casting your vote for the candidates of wisdom. Find a quiet moment. Settle. Let your breath become easy. We will begin by summoning one quality you deeply need but often feel is absent or faint. Let's start with compassion. Don't just think of the word. Invite the felt sense, the living presence of compassion. Imagine this quality not as an abstract concept, but as a benevolent presence. It could take a form, a warm, golden light in your heart center, a wise, smiling elder with kind eyes, a gentle animal like a deer or a mother bear, or simply a soothing, enveloping feeling of warmth. Don't force an image. Feel for the essence. Let the feeling sculpt the form. Now, let this presence of compassion speak. What does its voice sound like? It is not loud or flashy. It is steady. It is resonant like a cello string. It is warm like a hearth. What would it say to you, right now, in this moment of practice? Probably something simple, unadorned. You are doing your best. It's okay to be exactly as you are. This pain matters, and I am here with it. Listen. Don't manufacture. Create the inner space and let the tone, the quality of compassionate speech arise. Now, do the same for clarity. The voice that sees facts without drama, without the fog of story. Its tone is calm, clean, like still mountain water. It might say, this is the situation, stripped of interpretation. This is what you can influence. This is what you cannot. Here are the options. And for courage. Not the absence of fear, but the presence of action alongside it. Its voice is firm, rooted, like an ancient oak. It might say, you can feel the fear and take one step anyway. Just one. I am with you. You are not making this up. You are giving auditory form, a recognizable voice, to parts of your own deepest intelligence, parts that have been waiting in the wings, overshadowed by the louder, more frantic players. Now, in your daily life, when the old critic's gavel bangs, you failed. This is a disaster. You no longer have to face it alone. You consciously call your inner counsel to session. You let compassion speak first. This is hard. You're allowed to feel disappointed. This matters to you, and that's why it hurts. Then, clarity steps in. One specific thing did not go as planned. That is a fact. It does not define the whole of you or your future. The next actionable step is X. Then, courage adds, now, what is one small, brave next step you can take, even with this disappointment in the room? This is inner right speech as a collaborative, wise process. You are no longer alone, helpless victim of a tyrant's monologue. You are the facilitator, the wise leader of a caring and competent inner community. Over time, with practice, these voices become stronger, more automatic. The critic's voice becomes just one opinion among many, and not the most insightful or useful one. You have a team. You have a saga within. Imagine a man who lived in a stone house at the edge of a forest. From his back door, a beautiful ancient footpath led to a clear mountain spring. To root this practice in the earth of experience, consider this tale. A man lived in a stone house at the very edge of a great, whispering forest. From his back door, a beautiful, ancient footpath wound through the dappled light, leading to a clear, cold mountain spring. For years, he drank from this spring every morning. The water was clean, fortifying, and brought him a peculiar, deep peace that lingered through the day's troubles. Then, a season of great worry fell upon him. Concerns about money, status, and future security consumed his thoughts inside the stone house. Preoccupied, he stopped walking the path. Days became weeks, weeks became months. Weeds grew over the entrance. Thorns and brambles claimed the way. In his anxious absorption, he forgot the path was even there. His thirst, however, remained. Parched, he began to drink from a stagnant, muddy puddle that formed near his kitchen door after rains. The water was brackish, sandy, and left a foul taste. It made him sluggish and irritable, but it was close. It was familiar. It required no effort. He even convinced himself, this is the only water I have. This is just how water tastes. One day, aching with a weariness that sleep couldn't touch and an irritability that poisoned his solitude, a fragment of memory surfaced. There was another path. Wasn't there? With a sigh that was half despair, half hope, he took a sickle and cleared the thorns from the doorway. He took one step onto the overgrown path. It was hard. The way was obscured. But he persisted. Each day, he cleared a little more. Each day, he walked a little farther, remembering the turns, the feel of the packed earth. The journey back was effortful, a rewiring of habit. And one crisp afternoon, he pushed through a final curtain of vines and heard it, the unmistakable, gentle, continuous song of water over stone. He knelt at the spring's edge, cupped his hands, and drank. The clean, familiar strength flooded his body. The deep peace returned, not as a memory, but as a present reality. The path to the spring had always been there. It was his birthright. The spring had never stopped flowing. He had just forgotten how to walk the path. He had settled for the stagnant puddle of his own anxious, critical thoughts because they were close and required no journey. Your mind has a spring. It is the source of natural compassion, inherent clarity, and quiet courage. The path to it is your consistent practice of inner right speech and calling upon your inner counsel. The critic's voice, the constant anxiety, the harshness, that is the stagnant, muddy puddle. It is familiar. It is mentally close. It requires no effort to find, it's the default setting. But it poisons you slowly. The work of these hours is to remember the path. To clear it, step by step, word by kind word, counsel meeting by counsel meeting. The spring has not gone dry. You have just been drinking from the wrong source, and have forgotten the taste of what truly nourishes. We have focused intently on the mind, on words, voices, and counsels. But this work is not cerebral. It is somatic. It lives and dies in the tissues, in the breath, in the pulse, in the held tension of a jaw or a shoulder. Your body is the most faithful, nonverbal scribe of your inner dialogue. It writes down every cruel word, every anxious prediction, in the indelible language of biochemistry and neuromuscular patterning. A thought is an electrochemical event in the nervous system long before it becomes a conscious sentence. A repeated thought becomes a neural pathway. A repeated neural pathway becomes a habit. And a habit becomes a posture, a tension, a susceptibility to illness. I am not safe, whispers the mind, and the shoulders hike toward the ears. I am not enough, echoes, and the chest caves in to protect the heart. I must be perfect, commands, and the jaw clenches, the brow furrows. Changing your self-talk, therefore, is not just a psychological or spiritual exercise. It is a physiological intervention. It is direct, real-time care for your animal being. It is how you speak safety to your own cells. To ignore the body in this work is to try to build a sanctuary with no foundation. The body is the ground upon which the sanctuary rests. We must learn its language. This practice is the essential bridge. It turns inner right speech from a concept in the mind into a felt experience in the flesh. It is a direct, caring dialogue with the various regions of your physical being. 1. Foundation. Find a comfortable position, lying down or seated upright. Close your eyes. Take 3 slow breaths, not to change anything, but to arrive. Feel the weight of your body being supported. 2. The feet. Bring your attention to your feet. Feel all sensations, the contact with socks or floor, temperature, any tingling or stillness. Without trying to change them, simply offer a silent sentence of kindness. Thank you for carrying me. Thank you for your stability. Feel the intention of the words landing in your feet. 3. The legs. Move attention to your calves, thighs, knees. Feel their substance, their strength, their quiet support. Offer kindness. Thank you for holding me up. Thank you for your mobility. 4. The core. Bring attention to your stomach, lower back, and pelvis. This is the center of gravity, the seat of gut feelings, and a common archive of anxiety and unsupportedness. Place a gentle hand there if you wish. Offer kindness. It's safe to soften here. It's safe to be supported. I am here with you. 5. The heart center. Move to your chest, upper back, and heart. This is where grief, joy, shame, and love resonate. Feel the rise and fall of your breath here. Offer kindness. You are allowed to feel all of it. I am listening. You are held. 6. The shoulders, neck, and jaw. This is the archive of burdens, of responsibility, of unsaid words. Feel the incredible, often tense, complexity here. Breathe into these spaces. Offer kindness. You can release the weight now. You don't have to carry it all. I am here to share the load. 7. The head. Finally, bring attention to your face, your brow, your scalp. The command center, the seat of worry and relentless thinking. Smooth your brow with your mind's touch. Offer kindness. You can rest. The thinking is done for now. You are safe inside this body. As you do this, you are not just relaxing. You are engaging in active, conscious reparenting of your physical form. You are speaking the language of safety directly to your nervous system, region by region. When you pair a kind inner sentence with a conscious, gentle attention to a body part, you create a powerful neurofeedback loop. The kind thought allows the muscles and nerves to soften, sending a signal of safety back to the brain. The softened body then reinforces the possibility of kind thoughts, making them more neurologically available. This is how you rewire the system. Not just with ideas, but with embodied, felt experience. You are teaching your whole being a new language of safety from the inside out. There was once a master musician whose lute began to sound discordant, jangling. Let the unity of mind and body be understood through the unity of an instrument. A master musician, renowned for the soul he could pour through his lute, came to a revered instrument maker in distress. The sound is off, he lamented. It's jangling, discordant. It hurts my ears to play. I've tried new techniques, but the music itself feels wounded. The maker, a woman with listening hands, took the lute. She did not ask about his sheet music or his practice routine. She did not blame his skill. She held the instrument close. She ran her fingers over its graceful wooden body, feeling its curves, its resonance. She plucked each string slowly, listening not just to the pitch, but to the quality of its vibration, how it traveled through the soundboard, how it lingered in the air. After a long silence, she found it. One string, the one tuned to the note of relentless self-demand, was wound so tight it was a hair's breadth from snapping. Its excessive, screaming tension was distorting the vibration of every other string. The entire instrument was braced against this one string's distress, unable to resonate freely. With infinite, meticulous care, the maker loosened the tuning peg for that string. Not all at once, that would have caused a shock, but turn by subtle, almost imperceptible turn. After each tiny adjustment, she plucked the string, listening for the point where its vibration stopped shrieking and began to sing in harmony with itself. A miracle of physics and craftsmanship occurred. As that one over-tightened string returned to its true, balanced tension, the other strings, which had been straining against its distorted pull, also settled. The entire instrument seemed to exhale. The wood itself hummed with a new, unified, luminous tone. The discord was gone, replaced by a rich, complex harmony. The maker handed the lute back to the musician. "The problem," she said softly, "was not the music you wished to play. The problem was the unbearable tension you were imposing on the instrument's very frame. An instrument cannot sing its true song if it is perpetually braced for breaking. Your entire being, mind, heart, and body, is that lute. Your harsh, relentless self-talk is that over-tightened string, the string of, not enough, of, must be better, of, I should be different. Its excessive tension distorts everything. Under its strain, your joy sounds forced, your peace feels fragile, your body hums with the chronic strain of impending failure. The practice of compassionate inner speech, of the body-scan dialogue, is the careful, patient, turn-by-turn loosening of that string. Word by kind word. Breath by conscious breath. You are not changing the fundamental note, your drive, your care, your desire to grow are beautiful notes. You are simply releasing the destructive, distorting tension, so the whole system, your mental, emotional, and physical being, can resonate with its natural, harmonious, and uniquely beautiful tone. When that one string of self-cruelty is eased, your entire life can finally sing the song it was meant to sing. We have built an inner council. We have learned the body's silent language. We are retuning the instrument of our being. This is the architecture of the sanctuary. But a beautiful building, if never visited, grows dusty and cold. A path, if never walked, disappears beneath the weeds. We now face the engine of all habit, time. The relentless flow of minutes and hours that can sweep away our best intentions, leaving us stranded on the familiar, barren shore of old patterns. How does this new way of speaking become not just something you practice, but who you are? How does it survive the frantic rush of a Monday morning, the grinding pressure of a deadline, the deep fatigue of a long evening? How does it become durable, weathering the storms of ordinary life? This is the work of integration. Of weaving the golden thread of awareness into the plain cloth of your day. It is about making kindness ordinary. Not special, not saved for quiet moments alone, but available at the checkout line, in the tense meeting, in the middle of an argument. We are creatures of ritual. We may not call them that, but they govern us. Checking your phone the instant you wake is a ritual. Replaying an argument in your head while showering is a ritual. Catastrophizing about tomorrow as you lie in bed is a ritual. These are micro-ceremonies of distraction and suffering, performed on autopilot. We will not eliminate ritual. The mind craves it. We will redeem it. We will design tiny, gentle, deliberate rituals of return. Practices that act as anchors, pulling you back from the turbulent seas of habit into the calm harbor of your sanctuary. These are not grand, hour-long meditations, though those are the deep wells. These are micro-sanctuaries. Lasting mere seconds, they are woven into the very fabric of your existing day, transforming routine into return. The strategy is elegant in its simplicity. You will choose 3 moments in your day that are already natural transitions. Pause points built into the rhythm of life. For example, 1. The morning threshold, after you wake up, before you check any device, in the sacred space between sleep and the world's demands. 2. The meal transition, after you finish a meal, in the brief stillness of satiation, before rushing to the next task. 3. The night portal, the moment your head touches the pillow, as you cross from waking into the realm of sleep. At each of these anchor points, you will perform the same, simple, 10-second ritual. Consistency, not duration, is the key. The ritual of return. 1. Stop. Physically cease all motion. If sitting, feel the full support of the chair. If standing, feel your feet planted on the earth. If lying down, feel the bed holding you. Become a statue for 1 breath. 2. Breathe. Take 1 slow, conscious, luxurious breath in. Feel the air cool in the nostrils, the chest expand. Then 1 slow, complete breath out, releasing everything you do not need to carry into the next moment. Let this breath be a full stop, a period in the sentence of your day. 3. Speak. Offer 1 sentence of inner right speech. A sentence crafted to pass the 3 filters: true, necessary, kind. Make these sentences general anchors, lighthouses, not lifeboats. They are not reactions to the moment's drama, but declarations of orientation. For the morning anchor. This is a new day, a gift of time. I will meet it with curiosity and gentleness. For the meal anchor, I am nourished. I am here. Thank you. For the night anchor, I did what I could with what I had today. Now, I grant myself permission to rest. That is all. 10 seconds. 3 times a day. The power is not in the complexity, but in the unwavering consistency. You are building a trellis of conscious awareness. You are installing 3 gentle checkpoints that interrupt the autopilot of unconscious living. You are, quite literally, rewiring your day around moments of conscious return instead of unconscious reaction. Over days and weeks, these anchor points become sacred. Your mind will begin to crave these oases of simplicity. They become the well you return to, so you don't have to keep drinking from the muddy, stagnant puddle of frantic thinking. They are your daily pilgrimage back to yourself. Picture a village built on a high, arid plain. At its center stood 1 deep, ancient well. Imagine a village built on a high, arid plain. At the absolute center of the village square, there was 1 deep, ancient well. Its water was sweet, cold, and clear, drawn from a deep aquifer no drought could touch. For generations, this well was the heart of the community. At dawn, noon, and dusk, the villagers would gather. They would draw water, share news, cool their brows, and leave with their vessels full, their spirits connected. The well was not just a source of water, it was a source of cohesion, of rhythm, of shared life. Then, a strange fever of individualism and haste swept through the village. The walk to the well takes too long, people muttered. We are too busy with our own crafts, our own worries. One by one, they stopped going. They began digging shallow pits in the shaded dirt near their own doorsteps. The water from these pits was brackish, warm, and tasted of earth and roots. It was barely potable, often making them mildly ill. But it was close. It was private. It required no communal effort. Soon, the villagers grew chronically irritable and fatigued. The vibrant square fell silent. The deep well, unused, began to fill with wind-blown debris and sadness. The community, disconnected from their shared source, fragmented into isolated, suspicious households. They were all drinking poison, and calling it convenience. One old woman, Ilara, whose bones remembered the sweet water, could bear the taste of the puddle no longer. She dragged her clay vessel across the silent square. With great effort, she cleared the debris from the well's stone rim and lowered the bucket. The rope groaned, the pulley turned, and when she raised it, the water within was as pure, as cold, as fortifying as ever. She did not hoard it. She went from door to door, not with accusation, but with an invitation born of remembered joy. The well is still there, she said, her eyes clear. The walk is short. The water is sweet. Come with me. At first, only a few, the most thirsty, followed. Then more. They returned to the ritual, dawn, noon, and dusk. Their health returned. Laughter echoed in the square again. The village remembered itself. Your 3 anchor points are your daily walk to the village well of your own aware, compassionate presence. The brackish, private pits are the automatic, easily accessed thoughts of worry, criticism, and haste, the mental shortcuts that poison you in isolation. The walk, the conscious 10-second pause, feels inconvenient to a mind addicted to the frantic pace of its own pit. But it is the necessary journey back to what truly nourishes. It is the ritual that reconnects you to your own clear, deep source and, in doing so, to the sense of being whole, and part of a larger, kinder reality. Make the walk. Honor the ritual. Understanding, counsel, and ritual will carry you far in the general flow of life. But every life has its specific minefields. Triggers. Particular people, situations, tones of voice, times of day, or even specific memories that seem to possess a skeleton key to your nervous system. They bypass your new inner counsel, blow past your anchor points, and hand the gavel directly back to old Kale, the panicked gatekeeper. Seeing a certain name pop up on your phone might whisper, "You're not good enough." Facing a particular type of task might shout, "You're going to fail, just watch." A hollow sense of worthlessness might descend like clockwork at 4 p.m., for no reason you can name. These are not failures of your practice. They are maps. They are X-rays, showing you exactly where the old wounds are, where the outdated guardians are still stationed on high alert, where the walls of your psyche are thinnest. Your task is not to avoid these triggers, that is the path of a shrinking life, a retreat from the world. Your task is to change your relationship to the trigger. To learn to walk into the electrically charged space, with your new language already alive in your heart, a shielded lamp in the dark. This is the work of sovereignty. It is reclaiming territory that feels automatically ceded to the past. This is a strategy of preparation, not reaction. It is based on military wisdom. The time to prepare for the battle is not when you are in the trenches, but long before, in the safety of the strategy room. 1. Identify with precision. Name one predictable, recurring trigger. Be surgical. Not work stress, but the moment my boss CCs the entire team on a feedback email about my project. Not social anxiety, but the minute I walk into a party where I know only the host. 2. Feel the blueprint. Remember the last time it happened. Recall it not to relive the pain, but to study the mechanism. Where did you feel it first in your body? A sudden clutch in the solar plexus? A flush of heat in the face? A sinking in the gut? What was the first, automatic sentence the old voice spat out? Here we go again. They're all judging you. This proves you're incompetent. This is the enemy's playbook. Now you have it. 3. Create the pact. Now, write a new script. This is your preemptive pact. A short, memorable, powerful statement of inner right speech that you decide now you will invoke the very moment you feel that familiar bodily sensation arise. It is your counter-move, prepared in advance. For example, trigger, boss CC's team on critical feedback. Old sentence/body cue, this is public humiliation. Tight chest, hot ears. Preemptive pact, my body is reacting to a perceived threat. This is feedback on a project, not a verdict on my worth. I will breathe, then read it once for data, not for drama. Trigger, walking into a party alone. Old sentence/body cue, you don't belong here. Hollow stomach, urge to flee. Preemptive pact. This is a room of people, each with their own insecurities. My only task is to be kindly present for 3 breaths. The rest will follow. You are not waiting for the critic to deliver its full monologue before arguing with it. You are cutting it off at the pass. The moment the familiar physical signal fires, the true first alert, you invoke your pact. You speak your new, chosen truth directly into the heart of the old wound. You deploy your inner counsel before the critic can grab the microphone. This is how you reclaim psychic territory. You go to the scary place not as a helpless victim, but as a prepared navigator. You have a map, the trigger pattern, a compass, the bodily cue, and a pre-written guiding star, the pact. You are walking into the stormy strait with your sails already trimmed. There was a ferryman named Eris who operated a vital river crossing. But halfway across lay a turbulent stretch known as the Stormy Strait. There was an experienced ferryman named Eris who operated a vital crossing between a bustling port city and a fertile island of vineyards. The river was wide, and most of the journey was under open, peaceful skies. But halfway across, there lay an infamous stretch known as the Stormy Strait. It wasn't a storm in the weather sense, but a permanent, turbulent convergence of currents and strange, howling winds that seemed to come from the cliffs themselves. Whenever Eris's ferry entered the strait, predictable chaos ensued. Icy winds of doubt would shriek. Whirlpools of "I can't" would threaten to suck the boat under. Waves of old shame would crash over the deck. For years, Eris would panic. He'd fight the currents head-on, muscles straining against the wheel, exhausting himself. He'd be blown miles off course, sometimes running aground on sandbars of despair. He began to dread any journey, knowing the strait lay in wait. He considered quitting altogether. One evening, an old sailor who tended the docks watched him limp into port, battered and sullen. "You enter the strait as if it is a surprise every time," the sailor remarked, not unkindly. "It's a monster." Eris spat. "It has a mind of its own." "Does it?" The old man smiled, his eyes like sea foam. "Or does it simply have its own nature? The currents are predictable. The winds always come from the east there. The strait isn't your enemy, Eris. It's just a piece of geography. You cannot change it. But you can change how you sail through it." The next day, the sailor taught him. He showed him how to trim the sails before entering the tumult, to reduce the surface area for the wind of doubt to catch. "This is your preemptive pact." He taught him the exact angle to point the bow to work with the main current, not against it, using its force to carry him through. "This is your conscious intention, aligned with, not fighting, the emotional energy." Finally, he gave him a mantra to shout into the wind, to steady his own nerve and crew: "I know these waters. I ride the wave." This is your sentence of inner right speech, shouted into the gale of emotion. The next time Eris approached the stormy strait, he did not wait. He prepared. He trimmed his sails. He angled his bow. As the first icy wind hit, he planted his feet and roared his mantra, not in defiance, but in declaration. The journey was not easy. The strait was still turbulent. But he was not fighting it. He was navigating it. He emerged from the other side tired, yes, salt-stung, but unbroken, and, for the first time, right on course. Your triggers are your stormy straits. Predictable emotional and psychological geography. You have been exhausting yourself trying to fight the currents head-on, believing the turmoil itself is the problem. The preemptive pact is trimming your sails before you enter. It is the specific, prepared adjustment you make so the winds of old pain have less to grab onto. It doesn't stop the storm, but it allows you to pass through it with sovereignty, skill, and the profound confidence that you can navigate your own inner world. You arrive at the other side not shipwrecked, but seasoned. And knowing you can always make the crossing. You have built a remarkable inner world. You have tools, rituals, a counsel. You are learning to navigate storms. A new kindness is taking root. But as this tender green shoot of awareness begins to grow, be watchful. The mind, in its endless ingenuity for self-preservation, has one final, most cunning defense. It is a trap dressed in the very robes of your liberation. It is the co-opting of the path itself to create a new, more spiritualized cage. This is the layer of spiritual materialism. The ego's last stand. It is the act of turning awakening into a new identity to cling to, a new standard to fail against. Watch for this. It is insidious and feels deceptively like progress. You start speaking kindly to yourself. It feels foreign, then good. A sense of pride emerges. Then, the mind, seeking to solidify and claim territory, co-opts the process. It begins to craft a new story. I am someone who is kind to myself. I am evolved. I am more mindful, more aware than others. I am above those old, messy reactions. This seems positive. But feel the subtle tension in it. It is comparative. It is superior. It creates a new, silent should. I should always be calm, compassionate, and unflappable. If I feel a flash of old anger or a spike of primal fear, I have failed at being spiritual. This is old Kale, the gatekeeper, putting on a monk's robe. It is the critic, now using the language of awakening to punish you for being human. It trades the whip of, "You're a failure," for the finer, more devastating lash of, "You're not enlightened enough." This is precisely why the Buddha taught the middle way. Not harsh asceticism, and not indulgent, saccharine positivity. But clear, balanced, accurate seeing. The goal is not to become a spiritual person. The goal is to end suffering. Sometimes, ending suffering in a moment looks like a clear, firm no, spoken with sharp honesty, not like a forced, serene smile plastered over a volcano of valid rage. Inner right speech, when it matures, is not about building a spiritual identity. It is about reducing suffering. Full stop. Sometimes, that means a sentence is not soft, but it is true and necessary. This rage is enormous. I need to step away before I speak. That is clarity and kindness in action, far kinder than a repressed rage that later leaks as passive aggression or self-hatred. The test is in the body and the heart. Ego-driven, spiritual, speech feels tight, performative, and creates a subtle separation from others. I am more aware than they are. Authentic, compassionate speech feels soft, true, and connects you to shared humanity. I struggle, just like anyone. This is hard, just like it is for you. When you notice your inner voice speaking in a new, kinder way, pause. Ask one quiet, piercing question. Is this kindness connecting me, or separating me? I am learning to be gentle with my pain, connects. It speaks to a universal, human process of healing. I am so much more mindful than I used to be, separates. It creates a timeline and a hierarchy where you are on top. It's okay to not know the answer, connects. It is humble, open, human. I've transcended the need for certainty, separates. It is a boast disguised as wisdom. The goal is not to become a person who is enlightened. The goal is to become a person who is honest. Who meets this moment, whatever it contains, confusion, joy, pettiness, grace, with clear eyes and a caring heart, not with a script for how a spiritual person should act or speak. Let your self-talk be plain. Let it be ordinary. Let it be human. This hurts. I'm scared. I don't know. I messed up. These are sentences of profound courage. They require no spiritual costume. They are the raw, undyed wool of true compassion. From this honest place, real transformation is woven. A painter named Elian became obsessed with painting the perfect spiritual self-portrait. A painter, named Elian, became obsessed with a single goal, to paint the perfect spiritual self-portrait. He didn't want just a likeness, he wanted to capture his ideal self. A being of perfect serenity, boundless compassion, and unwavering wisdom. He believed that by creating this image, he would become it. He studied the techniques of the great masters of light and peace. He worked for years in his studio, layer upon layer. He smoothed every pore, softened every line of care, painted eyes that held a knowing, gentle light, lips curved in a hint of an omniscient smile. He painted an aura of unshakable calm. When he finished, the portrait was breathtaking. It was the image of a saint. People traveled to see it. They praised his mastery and, seeing the subject, assumed he had attained the peace he painted. "You must be so enlightened," they'd whisper. But Elian grew increasingly hollow. He would stand before the perfect portrait, then look in his handheld mirror. The man in the glass was tired. He got irritable when hungry. He felt jealousy, insecurity, fear. The gap between the ideal on the canvas and the reality in the mirror became a canyon of shame. His inner critic, now armed with the ultimate weapon, hissed, "See. You are a fraud. You cannot live up to your own masterpiece. You are a spiritual failure." One night, in a fit of despair, he took a rag, soaked it in turpentine, and smeared it across the painting's serene face. He wept as the perfect features dissolved into chaotic streaks of color. His apprentice, witnessing this act of vandalism, cried out, "Master, why? It was perfect." Through tears, Elian said, "It was a beautiful lie. It was a mask I could never wear. The weight of it was killing me." He turned to a fresh canvas. This time, he did not paint from imagination. He propped up his simple mirror. He painted the tired lines, the eyes that held both doubt and hope, the vulnerable set of the mouth. He painted the shadow where the jaw clenched with stress. He painted not an ideal, but a truth, a human truth. When he was done, the new portrait was not breathtaking in the same way. It was compelling. It was real. Those who saw it did not say, "How spiritual." They fell quiet, then said, softly, "I know this man. I feel less alone." Your attempt to create a perfect, permanently serene, endlessly compassionate inner voice can become that first painting, an idealized mask that creates more suffering because it denies your humanity. It sets up an impossible standard, turning your practice into another source of secret shame. The true practice is to paint from the mirror. To let your inner speech reflect the truth of the moment with kindness, not with idealization. Sometimes the most truthful, kind thing to say is, I am not feeling kind or spiritual right now. I feel resentful and small. And that, too, is part of this human journey. That sentence, in its humble, fearless honesty, does more to end suffering than any perfectly crafted affirmation. It is the stroke that paints you back into your own humanity. We now arrive at the deepest layer. The liberation that makes all the previous practices not just beneficial, but ultimately freeing. It is the final untying of the knot. Everything we have done so far, the filters, the counsel, the rituals, the pacts, has been based on a subtle, beautiful, and necessary assumption that there is a self here to care for. A me that needs to be spoken to more kindly, a me that is healing. What if that, too, is a story? A useful, lovely, but ultimately provisional story? What if the final, most profound gesture of self-compassion is to see that the self you've been criticizing, and that the self you're now comforting, are both luminous constructions? Temporary formations in the flowing stream of consciousness, like a wave that forms, crests, and subsides back into the ocean. This is not nihilism. It is the ultimate, breathtaking relief. It is the discovery that you were never the troubled, solid thing you thought you were. The Buddha's teaching of anatta, non-self, points to this. You are not a solid, fixed, enduring entity called me. You are a process. A dynamic, changing constellation of thoughts, sensations, memories, perceptions, and habits. The angry you of this morning is not the calm you of this evening. The confident you in one situation is not the fearful you in another. There is no central, unchanging commander. There is only the flow of experience, and the thought about a commander. When you deeply glimpse this, something miraculous happens to your inner speech. The sentence, I am a failure, loses its devastating power. Because what is this I that is permanently a failure? It is just a thought, a story, clinging to one event in the river. It passes. The sentence, I must be kinder to myself, also softens. Because who is the I commanding, and who is the self receiving? They are two fleeting thoughts within the same aware space. Inner speech then becomes less about fixing a solid self and more about tending the flow of experience. It becomes like a gentle, accurate weather report for the climate of consciousness. Instead of, I am so anxious, you learn to say, anxiety is present. Instead of, I am a jealous person, you learn to say, a wave of jealousy is moving through. Instead of, I need to love myself more, you learn to say, in this moment, the energy of kindness is available to meet this experience. This is the final, unshakable sanctuary. You are not in the storm. You are the vast, clear, open sky in which the storm of I arises and passes. Your words become soft, compassionate observations of the weather within that sky, not frantic commands shouted by a terrified little ruler inside a fortress of self that was never really there. This is a contemplation for quiet moments, to cultivate the felt sense of disidentification, of being the space, not the content. 1. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes. Imagine, or feel into, the boundless sky. Clear, blue, infinite, impersonal. It holds everything: clouds, sun, stars, storms. Without being stained, damaged, or changed by any of it. 2. Now, see your thoughts and feelings as clouds in this sky. Some are dark, heavy thunderheads, worry, anger. Some are light, white, and fluffy, joy, memory. Some are wispy and passing, random thoughts. Watch them appear in the space of your mind, drift, change shape, and dissolve. The sky does not cling to the pretty clouds or fight the storm clouds. It simply, effortlessly, contains them. 3. Feel your usual sense of self as one particular cloud. A dense, familiar, well-defined cloud labeled me. Watch that cloud, too. See it change. Sometimes it's a successful me cloud, sometimes a lonely me cloud, sometimes an afraid me cloud. Notice it is never static. It has no solid core. 4. Now, gently shift your sense of identity. You are not the me cloud. You are the sky that is aware of the cloud. Spacious, clear, silent, unchanging in its essential nature of open awareness. The clouds are the ever-changing content. You are the context, the container. 5. From this sense of being the sky, if an inner sentence arises, let it be a simple, gentle commentary on the cloud weather. Ah, a thick cloud of planning. A sharp cloud of irritation. A warm cloud of remembrance. There is no owner. There is just the weather, and the aware space that knows it. When you arise from this, carry this felt sense like a secret. In a stressful moment, feel the tension as a storm cloud. Feel yourself as the sky. The storm cannot harm the sky. It can only move through it. Your inner speech, from this place, becomes quiet, accurate, and profoundly peaceful. It has nothing to prove, no self to defend, because the person who needed to prove things was just a temporary, passing cloud formation all along. A woman named Maya lived in a cottage beside a creek that ran through her land. Her entire emotional life was tied to that creek state. A woman named Maya lived in a cottage beside a creek that ran through her land. Her entire emotional life was tied to the creek state. In spring, it was a roaring, churning torrent, full of melted snow, terrifying in its power. She'd think, the creek is furious. It's trying to destroy my garden. What did I do to anger it? In summer, it became a gentle, clear trickle, barely audible. She'd think, the creek is being kind to me now. It finally approves. I must be doing things right. In autumn, it was clogged with fallen leaves, moving sluggishly. She'd think, the creek is depressed. It's giving up. It reflects the stagnation of my own life. In winter, it was still and frozen. She'd think, the creek is dead. Or worse, it's holding a grudge in silence. For years, she had a tumultuous, personal relationship with the watercourse, loving it in summer, fearing it in spring, despairing with it in autumn. She believed it had a personality, intentions, and was judging her. One day, a hydrologist friend visited. Hearing Maya's emotional interpretations, she laughed kindly. "Maya, the creek isn't a who. It's a that. It's not a being with feelings about you. It's a process. Water, responding to seasons, rainfall, temperature, and gravity. The torrent isn't its angry self. The trickle isn't its kind self. They are just different expressions of H2O moving through a channel. You are personalizing a phenomenon." Maya was stunned. The next spring, when the torrent came, she didn't think, "It's furious." She stood on the bank and observed, "A great volume of water is moving through the channel now." She felt awe, not fear. When it trickled in summer, she didn't feel approved of, but thought, "The water table is low in the heat." She accepted its state. Her suffering ended. The creek hadn't changed. Her relationship to it had. She stopped personalizing the weather of the water. Your mind is that creek. Your thoughts and emotions are the water, sometimes torrential, sometimes still, always changing. Your harsh inner voice was you personalizing the weather, blaming the creek for being a torrent, shaming it for being a trickle, taking it all personally. Compassionate inner speech begins as learning to speak kindly to the creek. But the ultimate freedom is realizing you are not only the creek. You are the valley through which it flows, the banks that contain it. And more fundamentally, you are the awareness that can see the entire process, creek, valley, seasons, without being permanently defined by any of it. From that vantage point, what is there to criticize? What is there to desperately improve? There is only the flowing, ever-changing suchness of life, to be met with clarity, curiosity, and care. And so we come to what might be called the final integration. Not some grand, distant awakening, but what I like to think of as the ordinary miracle. We have journeyed from the noise, through the gates of understanding, into the council chamber, and finally to the open sky. All these teachings, stories, and practices converge on one simple point. Your relationship with your own present experience. Compassionate inner speech is not a special, exalted state to achieve. It is the natural, intelligent, and kind way to relate to the fact that you are aware, that you feel, that you are alive. It is your birthright. When you stub your toe, the natural response is not, "You clumsy fool." It's a gasp, a wave of sensation, and attending to the pain, "Ow. That hurts. Let me care for this." We are simply learning to extend that same natural, intelligent, tending response to the stubbed toe of our psyche, to the hurt feeling, the anxious thought, the memory that aches. The miracle is not in becoming perpetually peaceful. The miracle is in the quality of your relationship to your lack of peace. It is the shift from, "I am anxious and that's bad," to, "Anxiety is here. I will care for myself while it passes." This shift is ordinary. It happens in the grocery line, in the middle of a hard conversation, in the silence of the night. It is not dramatic. It is deep. It is the quiet revolution. As you move through your days, you might find it helpful to have a gentle touchstone, a litany of reality-based, compassionate orientations. Not a rigid to-do list, but simple truths you can return to. You might say to yourself, "Let this not be another rigid to-do list, but a gentle touchstone." A litany of reality-based, compassionate orientations. Upon waking, I am here. The day is unknown. I carry with me my capacity to meet it, one moment at a time. When overwhelmed, this is one thing. I have a body and a mind to do it with. I can begin. When irritation flares, a boundary is touched. A need is unmet. Let me feel it, then speak or act from clarity, not heat. When fatigue wins, my energy is a finite resource. To rest is to honor the truth of my body. It is not a failure. When the old critic shouts, "Ah!" the old guardian speaks from its old map. Thank you. I am using a new one now. When joy surprises, this is a gift. Let it land. Let it fill the cells. Do not analyze it, inhabit it. Upon sleeping, today, I lived. Some moments I met with grace. Some I met with forgetting. Both are part of the human path. I release the day. This litany is a tuning fork. Strike it in your mind, and let its tone of truthful kindness bring the dissonant noise back into harmony. There was a young gardener who inherited a plot of land with a vision of a perfect, perpetually blooming garden. A young gardener inherited a plot of land with a vision of a perfect, perpetually blooming English garden. He fought nature. He despaired over fallen leaves in autumn, saw winter's bare branches as death, fretted over spring's slow emergence, and in summer's lushness, he already dreaded the coming fall. He was exhausted. His garden, forced and fearful, lacked vitality. An old gardener visited. He walked the land, felt the soil, and said, "You are gardening against life. You see the seasons as your enemies." The young gardener confessed his dream of constant bloom. The old man smiled. A garden is not a painting. It is a conversation with life. And life speaks in seasons. Your job is not to stop autumn. Your job is to understand autumn. To prepare the soil for it. To let the leaves fall and become next year's nourishment. Winter is not death, it is deep rest, the necessary silence for the roots. You must learn to speak the language of the land. To ask, not command. He taught him the language. To the fallen leaf, thank you for your work. Now feed the earth. To the bare branch, rest deep. Gather your invisible strength. To the first green shoot, welcome. There is no hurry. To the bursting bloom, you are glorious in your time. The young gardener began to listen. He stopped fighting. He started conversing. His garden, no longer stressed by his resistance, exploded into a wild, resilient, breathtaking beauty that was in harmony with the world. It was alive. Your inner world is that garden. Your harsh self-talk is the frantic gardener, fighting the natural seasons of your being, of energy and fatigue, of clarity and confusion, of joy and sorrow. Compassionate inner speech is learning the language of your own seasons. It is speaking to your fatigue with the wisdom of winter, rest deep. It is speaking to your new effort with the patience of spring, welcome. There is no hurry. It is speaking to your achievements with the celebration of summer, you are glorious in your time. And it is speaking to your losses with the acceptance of autumn, thank you for what you gave. Now feed my wisdom. When you learn this language, the war ends. You become a collaborator with your own life. So here we are. At the end of this shared dialogue, and at the beginning of your new, forever unfolding conversation. So here we are. At the end of this shared dialogue, and at the beginning of your new, forever unfolding conversation. This was never about acquiring something you lacked. You were never missing the capacity for kindness. You were only directing it all outward, like a lighthouse shining only away from its own shore, leaving its own foundation in darkness. This was a homecoming. A remembering. The sanctuary was not built by these words. It was revealed by them. It was always there. The innate, quiet, vast space of awareness that can hear both the critic's shout and the sage's whisper, and knows it is the space for both, not the content of either. You are not broken. You are not a project. You are a living process, having a human experience. And part of that experience is the sacred power of the inner word. The silent word in the mind that shapes the very world you feel yourself to be in. So from this moment forward, you have a choice. A minute by minute, thought by thought choice. You can choose the old language of the separate, fearful self, the language of division that turns moments into monuments of suffering. Or you can choose the new, ancient language of the connected, courageous whole, the language of the village well, of the seasonal gardener, of the sky and the creek. The language that sees clearly, feels fully, and speaks with a kindness that is simply the sound of truth meeting itself with care. This choice is your power. This voice is your home. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you love, deeply and forever, because through the clear eyes of your own awakened attention, that is exactly who and what you are. You are the one you have been waiting for. The conversation that matters most has now truly begun. If this journey within the monk's temple has touched a place of recognition in you, if you feel the resonance of a kinder possibility for your own life, not as a distant ideal, but as a present, breathing truth, then let this be more than a listening. Let it be a beginning. I invite you to take one simple, profound action. In the comments below, write this phrase, not for me, but as a vow heard by your own future self. I am learning my own language. Let that be your marker in the sand. Your first, firm sentence in a new, yet eternally old, story. And if you wish to continue this journey, to deepen this understanding with further teachings from the heart of the monk's temple, please subscribe and turn on notifications. This path does not end, it deepens, it widens, it becomes the very ground you walk on. And we walk it together. Until next we meet, in the quiet, unshakable sanctuary of your own awareness. Be gentle. Be clear. Be true. You are home.